So there are a few secrets to using these silicone lids to reseal and refill your Nespresso Vertuo pods. And I'm going to go over a couple of those with you now. One of the most important things is the grind, and you want to have a medium to fine grind because that's the grind that's coming out of your old capsule. If you cut your old capsule open before you go to refill it, you will be able to see what type of grind is in there, and you want to kind of try and match that. Second secret is that this little code across the bottom is read by the machine. The type of coffee that you're brewing, how much water it uses, what temperature it brews at, all of that good stuff is coded into this little code on the rim of your capsule. It's read by the machine in here, and that's how it knows how long to brew, how much water it needs to use, and it's dialed to get you the perfect cup. So what you want to try and do is match the code on your capsule to the type of coffee that you're brewing. This is an espresso capsule. I'm going to use an espresso grind, an espresso roast coffee to refill an espresso capsule. So that's cool. I've got a couple of doubles here, and this one is even for like the traveler mug, so it's a big one. You can refill any of these. This will fit just fine into all of them. So, but what you want to do is you match your capsule to that type of coffee. Next thing you need to know is that if your capsule gets deformed, you just need to work the dents back out of it with your finger because you want the capsule to be as balanced as possible. This guy spins fast. If it's off balance, it's going to have trouble. So you don't want that. So you want to also try and get the rim as clean as possible when you are tearing your foil off from the original fill of the capsule. Again, for that same reason, you want it to be a balanced capsule, and if you leave a bunch of label on one side and not another, then you're not going to have a balanced capsule. So other than that, it's pretty simple. You just pack it with coffee, you tamp it down with a little measuring scoop here so that you've got enough room to close it with your lid, and you're golden. So I'm going to go ahead and refill. I'm going to use this little one here. Oh, this was actually a regular capsule. So the next thing that you might want to do, and this is me being a little bit pedantic, a little bit anal, is that what I like to do is I take and in grams measure the pod with coffee in it, 86 grams, and measure the same pod, this is a slightly different pod, without coffee in it. And then I know how much coffee to pack into my pod. I'll just measure it out and refill it so that it is at the same exact weight. If I'm matching the right kind of coffee to the right kind of barcode on the pod, then I kind of want it to be exactly the same. And you can experiment with the different types of roasts a little bit with the grind. You definitely want it to be a medium to a fine grind. You don't want it to be coarse or the water's just going to run through. But between those things, you're pretty much going to be able to mix and match and get the desired brew that you want. Once you've got it dialed in, it is a piece of cake to just refill these guys. I just sit there on a weekend day and refill my pods for the week, and then I'm ready to go. So at this point, the only pods that I buy new are like new flavors and limited editions that I'm curious to try. Bonus points if you recognize the pattern on the Nespresso pods. Leave a comment if you recognize which ones are which. This one especially. Okay, so I have a full pod and an empty pod of the same brew. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this in grams. Glasses on for this. So I'm going to try and not make a mess here, but where espresso comes in, I just kind of do. We're going to call that. I'm going to tap it down so that it evens itself out, and then I'm going to use the measuring cup that comes with the lids to tamp it down. Just like a real barista, except with no knowledge or skill. Okay, now it does come with a little brush as well. I'm going to use that to get the grounds off of the edge. This goes really fast once you've done it a couple of times. There's really not much to it. Then I will pop this lid on here. And like I said, I will basically just take a day on the weekend and fill the pods that I'm going to use through the week. And it is taken care of. and it is a much more economical solution than buying all the pods. I do treat myself and buy new pods all the time, but sometimes I just want it to be a little bit more economical, and that's what we're going for here. You can essentially recreate the exact coffee and save yourself some cash. All right, here we go. And there you go. We have a nice little espresso shot refilled from a small espresso pod. We can even refill this bigger sized guy based on this barcode on here, and it will make enough coffee for travel size mugs. So pretty neat, pretty economical. And the only thing you really have to worry about is when you pop this guy open is making sure you retrieve your capsule with your little silicone lid, because you don't want to throw those away. Otherwise, there you go. I hope this helps.